Hi, this is Lauren reporting from Schloss Fridau from African Life, and we have hot water in the house. Oh God, I think this is more than a privilege for me and an honor, having the opportunity to interview someone from South Africa right here in Austria. I actually feel like tearing up, but I've just got to overcome.
You can. It's
so
okay. It's
overwhelmed,
okay.
Actually.
We're here to bring you some of home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our first album was called Home, really for that reason. Is to leave people feeling at home. Not only in South Africa, but to try and create a music that was accessible to everybody in South Africa, and then really to everybody globally as well. So.
And being that I've been away from home, it's kind of embarrassing having to say that I haven't had that much time to acquaint myself with hot water. Mm-hmm. I've had the opportunity to actually listen to you guys over YouTube and read the reviews that have been written about the band itself. But what I'd personally like to know is, where did the name Hot Water actually come from? Where was it established? Where was it grounded? What made hot water hot water?
I think, the essence and heart of the music is something that's essential. That's this sort of a place where that everybody has in common. That place, And so to use when you go hot water, water is such an essential commodity. And then I think the hot water is, in hot water you can cook different things.
Yes.
So, it really is about cooking up different cultural influences in South Africa to make a kind of a mix that everybody can associate with and find something to kind of access.
Yeah.
So, there are a number of different metaphors that you can use, but I think the hot is also passion. I'm really passionate about what I do, and so that coming together, the passion and the essential essence of the music, hot water. It's one angle.
And when was hot water actually established? When did the group get together per se? And how did it actually come about that the group was actually formed and grounded and has gotten to this point in time that you're right here, right now, and I'm sitting next to you?
I had a vision 7 years ago to create a platform where I could develop this music.
Yes.
Because it's not just suddenly happens, it's a process like cooking. You don't just suddenly cooked. It's a process of actually cooking the food. So really hot water was the pot in which I then had the space to do that, to bring lots of different musicians in the beginning, and still now to some degree. It's quite collaborative. There's a lot of musicians I've worked with along the way to develop.
With the likes of, I know that you've shared a stage with Yuma Sikela, the likes of Yuma Sikela in South Africa, and what actually, did trigger something or kind of was very wonderful to hear was that you actually had an opportunity to also perform on Table Mountain.
Yes.
Which was, I think, a few months or probably towards the end of last year, announced to be one of the 7 wonders of the world. What was that feeling like? That was like literally performing on top of the world. I could only imagine, being there. What was that experience like?
It was a huge honor. Because Table Mountain is a special place.
Extremely special.
And
place.
It was just around the time where it was inaugurated.
Yes.
And we were looking into it, and it looks like we were one of the first bands to ever play up there. So it was just an honor, and you could really feel something special happen. It was an amazing experience and a
No,
real honor. And fun, just fun.
Yeah.
It was also fun. On top of Table Mountain, wow.
You've had a lot of experience, or you've had a lot of tours, international tours, specifically in Europe and the UK. What was the response like from your audiences? You know, having come across a different type of music. You know, I'd say it's authentic, it's original South African music, and having come from different genres of music, like your music, I would say, is influenced by Kwasa, by Batkanga music, and a whole lot of different genres that are authentic to South Africa. How would you specifically define Hot Water, this music?
How would I define it?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe that's your job to define it. I'll play it. You guys can define it. Isn't that your job? I mean, isn't that other people's job? Define what it is. What box are you going to put me in?
For me, it's a model mix of of everything, and it doesn't only remind me of the likes of Johnny Clegg and Maria Makeba, but everything that's mixed into your music, I'm always able to relate to. You know, when it comes to the guitar, I'm able to say, okay, the sounds a bit Batkanga, reminds me of traditional Zulu folk music, yet at the same time it brings up another, I don't know, feeling that one's able to say, okay, I'm not too sure, but this kind of also reminds me of, a different type of music, but also South African. And the way you've incorporated all these different types of music is Hot Water from my perspective. But what I really wanted to know is, what would you define it as?
Maybe South African folk music in some ways. Maybe folk rock. I mean, folk township jive blues rock.
Yeah.
It's all those things. It's difficult. I don't really have a definition for it. I would say South African folk rock. If I had to place it somewhere.
One thing I have realized is that it's actually brought lots and lots of audiences, different cultures of people together. I've watched your shows online, and the amount of people and different cultures that I've seen together at a show, enjoying themselves, dancing and, really cheering. And that to me, being away from home and the experience I'm still going to have this evening is just extremely fulfilling. And I would like to see you guys perform back at home, on home ground, with the rest of South Africa. Right now, I think your tour, with you performing with Angelique Kidjo tomorrow, well, what feelings, what emotions do you have? What do you think that's going to be like? I know you've had performances with other artists, but specifically Angelique Kidjo, being an internationally renowned African artist. What are your feelings about sharing a stage with her?
We're not actually sharing the stage with her tomorrow. We're actually in Spain, at WOMAD, Spain, tomorrow night. So no, we're not actually sharing it with her. But I'm looking forward to an opportunity of doing something like that, because as we've grown forward, I've had the chance, like you're saying, with Hugh Masekela. It was actually a New Year's Eve, last New Year's Eve, at Kirstenbosch National Botanical Gardens, which is to me one of the best venues in Cape Town, in South Africa for me, I think. So that was, it's amazing to be able to stand on the stage with these icons. And you really feel it when you're standing on the stage with someone like Hugh Masekela. You feel the weight and it's like an immovable rock of sort of power on the stage. So it's inspiring and just...
But I'd say you're an icon, not specifically you, but the band Hot Water is an icon on its own. So I wouldn't...
Well, I mean, it's becoming that. It's becoming recognized as something that holds the space that I intended it to hold.
Yes.
which is great to see. But obviously, you know, with the experience of someone like Hugh Masekela, who's now in his early 70s, you know, I'm in my 30s, with the weight of what he's done, the amount of experience he's had. You know, he's played with Paul Simon and obviously Miriam Makeba and like huge artists. You really feel that playing with him. It's like being in this space, in the kind of castle. There's like a weight, you know, you feel this like power, you know, in a space. So on stage it's the same. It's the same. So we just maybe fledglings in that way. Fledgling icons, if you have to. You have to say
and
that.
And the guitar that you're holding is very interesting. What exactly is it made out of? For those who don't know, I'm South African, and I know in South Africa, in the townships, children would actually take a 5-liter oil can and actually make a guitar out of it.
Yeah.
And there's a name for guitar in Zulu, which is isigingci.
Yeah.
And this looks very similar to what I'd known as a child, called it isigingci. What was the inspiration behind actually having one of these or making one of these?
For me, it represents the music. It represents what I do, because this is now a professionally, modernized version of that. So it's bringing together the best of the old and the new. So I think for me, Hot Water brings that old school, and then kind of reaches into the future to bring something together. So I think visually and functionally and from an audio point of view, it brings together all those aspects and represents that mix. So if you're going to put me into a box, this is the only box you can put me into. So I think this kind of represents, what it's about, and it's fun. Like you see this is fun. It just for me, it's fun. It's like feels when you're playing it. It's just got a different feel. You got bottle tops here. So as much as it looks like a can, this is a fully professional guitar. I tour all over with it, and so
very unique instrument, looking instrument. But it really does serve its purpose. Making hot water. And not last and least, what are Hot Water's goals in terms of the future, in terms of moving forward? What message is it that Hot Water would like to spread across South Africa and the rest of the world?
When you listen to the music, what do you feel? What does it leave you with?
To me, it brings back the sense of unity, uniting people, and bringing a sense of joy and happiness to the people who are actually celebrating or enjoying listening to the music at that particular point. It should not only be that it's been embraced at that particular moment. The message should be taken back home with them, and carried through each day of their life.
Yeah. And
I think maybe that is your goal. Yep. And I think you have achieved that goal if you allowing me to come and listen to what you're singing. And, I go back and I'm able to sit back and rewind and just think of what that message, that particular message was. And I'd say that's my point of view.
That's it. I mean, I've tricked you into answering the question for me. But it's really just to create that space where people, walk away with that feeling of upliftment and unity, and the place in amongst all the challenges of life and all the separation, on a level. There's also, at the same time, there's a place of connectedness, and it's really to stand in that and give that space to people,
And as a close, I would just like to request you to perhaps just give us a little taste of what we'll be hearing later on.
Sure.